Second Nature for Children is in the house. Of course, it's Friday night. I got my guy with me, and we just want to make sure that we finish up some things that we started on a little earlier this week. Does prayer work? And we just want to do a conclusion to this right here. And Bro D want to bring a little something more to the table about prayer. And myself, I will definitely jump in there and give my perspective on prayer and been kind of thinking about it a little bit more in depth uh, since we last had the conversation a little earlier this week. And we just gonna talk some things off tonight. We ain't gonna hold you long, but we want you to come in. We want you to subscribe. We want you to share this information and hit that thumbs up. Facebook family, you got to go over to YouTube. Make sure you go over and subscribe. Make sure you share this information because this information we putting out, I guarantee you, either you need it or you know someone who needs it. So we're gonna jump right into it. I was telling Bro D when we were just coming on that it's just so good to be on top and to be on this side of the dirt one more time. So I want to thank the higher power, the supreme being, the God that I serve, for giving me another opportunity to come in and chop it up and see how could I be a part of helping someone take their life to the next level. And I'm always working within the three areas of the mind, the body, and the soul. So if you need my help with fitness, hit me up. If you need my help with the right mindset to achieve anything in life, hit me up. If you need my help to really deep dive into the soul and making sure that you love yourself first and foremost, and learning how to connect with that, what dwells within you, then you're on your way. I guarantee you. So we're gonna get ready to crank this thing up. We're gonna put it, like I said, a conclusion to does prayer work? Now let's make sure before we get started that we understand what prayer means. Simple. It means to speak to God in worship. Worship is to give great honor and reverence to. So you enter into a spiritual communion with God. That's what you do. So when you enter, you go into, you come into, or you become a part of. So what you're working to do is you're working to make sure that your spirit is connecting with the higher power spirit. Now, when we say spiritual communion, once we use the word spiritual, then we're dealing with the spirit that dwells within us. We're talking about the immaterial part of man, meaning that we're not dealing with the physical. We're dealing with that dwells within. So we want to make sure that when we pray, that we tap into that spirit that dwells within us, because even the Bible says that the spirit understands the spirit. So once you go to your higher power, regardless of whatever your higher power is, you want to make sure that you go to that higher power in spirit, and you want to make sure that you commune with them or whatever you worship. And that's an act of sharing. It's something that you may want to share, or you want to exchange a thought or some feelings. You want to have an intimate talk, a close spiritual relationship. So, in a nutshell, that is what praying is about. And so, once we dive into the topic, does that it works? Because sometimes when you pray, if it come through for you, then of course you're gonna say it worked. If you pray for something and it does not come through for you, then of course it didn't work. When you pray, then it did work. So I'm gonna let Bro D jump in here a little bit and do what he got to do. And I'm gonna put this article back up. But first, before I even put it up, I'm gonna let Bro D get his perspective. And Bro D, you just take your time and do what you got to do.
Okay. Um, that was a real good discussion we had the other day. And I actually did a little research and everything, and then people have different experiences. Now, I can only speak for, as you know, some people look at it. So for me, the answer, I know when we went over it the other day, I was like, for me, yeah, prayer works. A personal testimonial, we have a 15-year-old daughter, and I remember my wife's placenta came loose. So she was 10 days early. Our daughter was supposed to be born April the 28th, but they had to do an emergency C-section. So that was the 18th instead of the 28th. We had just came from a appointment. Everything was good and everything. And I was always brought up, in the church, and, to have a good relationship with God and pray and everything, because you're going to need him at some point, but not to wait on bad things to happen and then call on him, because it does tell you, scripture, he will say, I don't know you. I don't know you. Because a lot of times we as people, as human beings, we get in a situation and we don't call on him until we get in a jam. As long as everything is going good, then oh no, I did this, I did that. Well, you still had to have help, because there is a higher being, there is a God. So we can't just, on a totality, we can't do everything on our own. A lot of stuff we have to have help doing. So long story short, though, she was supposed to be having Down syndrome. So we had to put her to developmental classes. They had to check her learning curve for the first 3 years after she was born. Now, I did pray. I just wanted a healthy child, and I said, wow, so I named it the miracle child, because God does answer, prayer. We have, several thousands. Some people think it doesn't work. And here's the thing, it's a tricky thing, because the more I thought about it when we had the last part one and everything, I would like to say this so people will get total clarification. God does not answer everybody's prayer, because a lot of people ask for things they don't even need. And we have to be careful. And I say that, when I say careful, because it's a slippery slope, because first off, he is the higher being, and we can't question him. He does want us to think, and everything. And sometimes we as flesh, we tend to ask for things we really don't need. And he don't answer to us, and he doesn't answer all prayer either. So, it's kind of like, you remember the justice scales?
Yeah.
When you go to the courthouse? Yeah. You got to have balance. Okay. And so some people actually that they pray, and actually he don't hear their prayers, but that doesn't unsubstantiate all of the miraculous recoveries and miracles that he's done. Because then we could say, well, some people say, well, if he don't answer everybody's prayer, there couldn't be a God. Or why would God, let us suffer like this? Or why does he allow this to happen and this and that? But everything, you have to still have balance and everything. And I do truly believe he does not answer everybody's prayers. So for some people, it don't work, because some people don't have a relationship with God. So like when you say dwells within, some people are empty. You have a lot of people out here don't even have any souls. You got people out here killing people, and and they have there's no remorse. It's like there's no soul, no remorse. They could kill 10 or 20 people and not feel bad about it, and go to sleep just as good as they went to sleep before they killed the 20 people. A good example, the young lady that put a 1-year-old child, left her in the lake the other day, Sandy Springs. What kind of mother that has any type of relationship with God would you leave your child in a lake to die? So everybody's situation is different. But we have so many hundreds of thousands, like say for instance, like for everybody that you have some people don't believe in God, or they're not into spirituality or connections or anything like that. And they would say, well, oh, okay, no, it doesn't work. Prayer doesn't work. But for everybody that says it doesn't work, you probably got 100,000 people that's got live testimonials that say, hey, it does work. And they got proof that substantiates that it does. And the proof would be the miraculous, unexplained miracles, because God does perform miracles. I prefer not to call it a miracle because he has all power. That's what I believe. Okay. So to me, a miracle is like a magician, a trick, like David Copperfield. We know that's not real. It's a trick, a card game, or Houdini, you know. But God, it's real. It's not a trick. There's no secret man under the table, under the stage, or nothing like that. It's not like the 3-card Molly trick or anything like that. It's real. And we got a lot of people that have had different experiences. And we, as people, a lot of times, some of the things we can't even explain it. Even the professionals can't explain it because sometimes it defies science or the medical profession. So now that alone would substantiate, well, how can this be? Because it goes beyond our comprehension. So it couldn't be anybody but a higher being, because man can't do it, because we don't have all power. Our power and resources are limited, but God's resources and powers are unlimited. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's my perspective on it.
Well, from hearing that right there, I think I would have to go with, from what you just gave me. So would you be saying that the most important thing is to have a relationship with the Most High?
Absolutely.
Is to have a relationship. So when it come down to that time where you need to pray, you should be in a consistency of praying, like Paul told with the church of Thessalonians, to pray without ceasing. Well, it should be a constant relationship type of thing that you are building, so that if anything do occur in your life, because I would hate for something to happen to someone who needs my help, and we don't really have a close relationship, a good relationship.
There you go.
I'm really up to help the person or the persons who I have a better relationship with than someone a lot of times I really don't know. So like you said a little earlier, I think that'd be in Matthew 7, where he was telling the folks, I don't know you, I never knew you. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't do nothing in my name. You understand? So so I'm hearing what you're saying. So and we're gonna look at some. I definitely hear what you're saying. So far, I definitely agree that it's more important to have that, whatever you believe in, whatever, to have a personal relationship.
Yes.
With that which dwells within you. Is that where you're sitting at?
Yeah, that's pretty much. That was a good way of condensing it and shortening it up. You know what I mean? Because you have a long verse. Sometimes I get a little long-winded, and so you kind of condensed it like we do with the carnation milk in the can. So that was.
That was real good. How you brought that, how you gave your personal experience, because that's another thing. That's why I'm coming to the conclusion now that it really can't be answered yes or no, because and I think you said in the last episode that people can just give their perspective of their experience or how they have dealt with it. You've had some people who prayed for certain things and it came through, and now they have to be able to look at their life too, because it was times I'm sure they prayed for something and it didn't come through. you know.
Right.
But then to be able to balance, as you said, and to deal with whether it happens or not, that's your relationship. In other words, if it don't come through the way I expect for it to come through, God, we still good. Is that,
Right.
yeah, we still
Yeah.
good.
Because see, if you got faith, because faith is basically a strong belief in anything. It's a strong belief in anything, that we can't see. We know if we're sitting in a chair, we know that chair will hold. We know we're breathing. We have oxygen. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have that connection, because he's not going to grant everybody's pray, whatever they pray for. And then also, God knows what's best also. He knows it better than we do. So it's not like some people think that it's contingent on what they want. And so it's like if somebody calls you, Brother King, can you help me out? I'm really in a jam, and they got locked up, went to jail, and they need some bond money. But you already know this person, and y'all have a certain relationship, but it's not a close relationship. And you already know this person's MO, and looks like every time they call you, they're in a jam.
Yeah.
You're going to be a little apprehensive about helping that brother. Say, well, wait a minute, brother. You called me the last time you got a DUI and you went to jail. Now you shot a dude and you don't went to jail. And every time you call me, you're in a jam.
Yeah.
But you don't never call me to check on me, see how I'm doing, how's the foundation going and everything. You always call me when you're in need. So that would be just like in Matthew, when God said, I don't know you. I don't know. Because that means there's no relationship. And so there's really nothing that dwells within them because they're empty. There's no relationship. And you have to put the faith with the work, that verb. There's that verb word again. So faith without work is dead.
Okay, so now I'm saying how we connect when we're praying. So now we need to have faith, hope, and belief hooked on to our prayers. Would that be a good assumption that we have?
That's a good one. Absolutely.
Because we don't know a lot of times, depending on what we're praying for, if it's, so we don't know if it's going to come through or not. And then a lot of times, I'm sure a lot of us pray for some stuff that we don't even need. It just crazy. A lot of crazy, so
a new car, a new house,
a lot of crazy
hit
stuff.
The lotto.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something that was funny that happened, and this is a true story. That I had a brother that called me. This was many years ago, but I got to share it. And he was telling me, when you mentioned about being in jail, he told me that they had him locked up, right?
Yeah.
And he needed a little bail money. Could I help him out with some bail money, right? So he in a jam. So he said, well, can you come down and get me out? Are you with me? So I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I was like, okay, I tell you what, I helped you out. So where I need to come. Then get what he told me. He was gonna meet me at the gas station. That's a true.
I thought he's supposed to be in jail.
I just had to shut it. That's a true story. That's a true story. Now, watch this right here. Watch this part. My crazy butt took him the money to the gas station.
That's because you believe in him.
You know what? Listen. I knew he had some issues. I knew, and I knew it was. I knew he was lying, but just trying to help him out, I took him some money at the gas station. He's supposed to be locked up. Man, get out of here.
So he needed the money before they come get him.
Ain't that something, man? Ain't that something? I just wanted to share that.
That is really something.
That's
beautiful though. That's a
true story. That's a true story.
That's serious.
That's a true story.
There's some people out there like that though, brother.
I'm giving you facts. That's a true story.
Yeah. I
And
believe that.
I took him the money over there. I sure
Took
did.
him the money. Faithful.
I took him the money, man, trying to, I
Trying
knew
to
he was
help the brother.
I knew he was going through it. But
Yeah.
can you see my error and where I'm at? But when it comes to prayer as a form of asking for something from a divine source, can you see that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's showing and I want to make sure that if anybody wanted to go and pull this up and read this article, just an article I found.
Right.
Does prayer work by
Phil
Rick
Zimmerman.
Zuckerman, PhD.
Right.
So if anybody I just want to bring that comment. So if anybody want
Okay.
to look at it. So it says
Yeah.
it says that, and I have to go with this. I have to go with this that there is no evidence. Now, once you say that you're going through something and you pray for it and you call on your God, your higher power, and it happens, it come through for you, then
Right.
obviously a lot of times you're going to say prayer work because you receive what you ask for. Okay?
Yeah. And see,
You
I can trump that one with the miraculous, unexplained miracles that
okay?
God has performed where people have prayed. That's your evidence right there.
Okay,
And
but
that will shoot his theory down. Because some of us, sometimes some of the miraculous miracles that God performed, actually it's already substantiated. So whatever the result has turned out to be, that's the proof. So that will shoot his theory down. Because when you say evidence will be, that's just like anything that you can substantiate, that's your evidence. So evidence will be in alignment with proof. And so you got thousands and thousands of miraculous, unexplained miracles. And that's your proof. You remember the old saying, the proof is in the pudding?
I remember.
That's your proof. So the miraculous, unexplained miracles that God has performed, that we as man can't even comprehend it, we can't even explain it, but we know it has happened because we've seen the results. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Now, give me an example.
Okay.
Give me an example.
Okay.
If do you have an example? I don't know if you have one.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I got actually quite a few.
Okay.
One brother, he went to the hospital. He had stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
And they gave him 6 months to live.
Okay.
And he was, they told him to get his affairs in order. That's what the doctor said, get your affairs in order.
I've heard it before.
He, he was pretty afraid. He went home, told his wife about it and everything. And he was just preparing basically to die in 6 months.
Lived. All right, let's put it in.
He lived.
He lived.
But there's a second part. Now he was terminally ill.
Okay.
Now he was a praying brother and everything.
Okay.
So the doctor called him. They called him about 9 at night. And he was like, no doctor calls at 9 at night.
Okay.
And so it's got to be very serious. That's when they gave him the bad news. They said they had found the polyps. He was stage 4 cancer, colon cancer. Okay. He prayed and everything, but he still had put his affairs in order. Long story short, they ran the labs and everything. And less than 3 months later, he was cancer free. They ran some more tests. And the doctors couldn't even explain it. The polyps, when they checked it the next time, they were benign. They checked them again because they wanted to make sure that the reading was accurate because they knew it was a total 360. The doctors couldn't explain it. All they knew is when his blood work came back less than 3 months later, he was cancer free. There was no polyps and there was no sign of cancer. It went from a stage 4, which is the last final stage, to 6 months to live, to He lived over 20 years later and still lives today.
All right, let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
What if, and I'm just asking,
Right.
what if the doctors who diagnosed him was wrong?
Well, usually all of them aren't wrong. How could they be wrong if they ran the test? And it was cancer.
Because there have been plenty, and I found some
So you
sources
saying
later.
a misdiagnosis?
Absolutely, absolutely. It happens.
All of them.
It happened. Well, I'm not saying that particular what happened to your guy right there, but I'm saying, and listen, I'm not saying that this what happened. I'm just looking around
the other way. Right.
I'm just looking. I'm always my mind gonna stay open.
Right.
Because
I got you.
Yeah, my mind gonna stay open. I'm not gonna close my mind because
right.
I know
keep it open.
I know that when I hear one story, and I've been living long enough to know that I can get another story that will opposite that. That's
absolutely.
A fact. That's
absolutely.
a fact. So then
that's true.
That's a fact. So then it got into when certain things happen. Was it God? Or or was it just something happened and it was your belief that it was God?
I don't think. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Okay.
I think when you're talking about something that serious, especially with the technology we have, I know this was years ago, and we still had certain technology, but we got a lot of better technology now, and there's always room for error. I get all of that. But at the same time, when you're talking about like terminal illnesses and everything, most of the times, if they call you, because doctors don't usually call anybody at night, so it's got to be pretty serious. So they ran the test, and they usually don't run it one time. They're usually going to double check and sometimes triple check to make sure, because that's very serious when you're talking about somebody's life and everything.
Okay.
Like I just had my colonoscopy done about 2 months ago, and it was like 3 polyps, but they were benign.
Absolutely.
I said, well, wait till you can do 3 to 5 years. I said, I'm gonna do 3. I ain't gonna wait till I'm 60.
All right,
let
me break this down because time, I don't know why time be flying on us, but
they say it's always flying
when you're having fun,
brother.
Always. So right here, and people can go pull this up and look at it. So let me share it because that same scenario you are talking about is right here in this paragraph.
Okay.
Where the same thing happened right there, and the doctor said that it was nothing short of a miracle. I'm just right here, that dying husband with a cancer recovery, and like I say, people can go pull this up. But then it comes right here and it lets you know, because they've done studies why these things do happen. What is far and away more common is that the husband dies.
Right.
So yeah. So you could go pull it up.
True.
So I still got to
that's
go
true.
with, I still got to go with that. It's that person's belief that if they get healed or something happened. I don't know whether it was the deity that did it or not, but and the reason I say that it's their belief that it was their deity, because on the other hand, and I'm always keep my mind open, on the other hand, many more died. And then when you get a chance, I want you to go and pull this up, and you can see where they did a research right here, a rendering where they divided up 1,800 coronary bypass heart surgeons, patients, and then they did a study on this right here where they divided them up, and they got Christians, Islam, Buddhism. They got different people to pray for the different groups, and you'll see where the ones that were not prayed for lived and recovered and did better on a recovery than the ones who were prayed for.
Right. Let me ask you this.
Yeah, ask it.
Now, what do you think about this? Because you got, I pulled up a list, and you got several hundreds of thousands of people that were supposed to have a certain time frame, and they got living proof live testimonials. They were supposed to die, and they didn't die. They prayed and they lived.
Well, then I would have to come back and pull that opposite table up. Because like you just pulled that table, and I would have to come back and pull the opposite table, because right here in this study, it shows that, like I just showed in this article right here, let me get right back to it. If it move up for me, I'm trying to move it up. It shows where it says that the man recovered. The doctors couldn't explain it. But then this article come back and shows that while things like this do happen, so I would have to go and find the numbers that would have to top your numbers. But just looking at this, just looking at this article, it says what is far in a way more common is that the husband dies. So
doing this for every example like that, you got several thousands and thousands of testimonies that where people live and they were supposed to die, and they did pray, and some of them even, it's not even life threatening. I've seen miraculous miracles where people lost everything and was homeless, lost all their money and spent all their money, were broke, and they stepped out, like, you know, like we go back with faith. It's a strong belief of something we can't see, but a strong belief and conviction. And they stepped out, and there was intervention that came into play and got them back. They got new employment, moved to different cities or a new city. Some of them had to move back with their parents and got back on feet, and money. They got money, got jobs, and
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you what to do. I'm gonna tell you what to do. You know how to share your screen?
I can figure it out for the next segment.
Okay. And we're gonna have to do one more.
No doubt.
Yeah, because we only got 3 minutes or so, and I try to keep them short. And you bring
part 3.
Yeah, you bring. So you share your screen, because, like I said, this right here, it opposes what you're talking about. So match your article up to this one, and then when we come back, I know you may be with your mother Sunday, I'm not sure, but when we come
Mother's Day,
when we come back, we'll match your sources up to these to this source right here, because
everything. I got a lot of them now, and see the numbers outweigh their numbers, and not only that, like they got an article. It's always somebody else got another article. You know, like we went over the resurrection.
So that's what I'm telling you. So that's it. I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Because now it's coming into more of a belief, unless you can show me something that opposes this what I'm showing. Because they're saying exactly what you're saying. And I understand that you have a certain group and a certain amount who things came through for them. But then we got to find that other side and get those numbers, well, for the ones, and we may never know, because they didn't make it. They died. So we'll just have to find that study where we can look at both together. But we'll definitely come back if you want to share your screen, definitely, and share some information. So when we come back, I definitely want to go through this and finish this up. Okay. And then we'll go through the different types of prayers, because there are different types of prayers. So we'll definitely we did a part 1. We'll let this be part 2, and then we'll come back and do a conclusion.
Okay.
And then
sounds good.
We'll come back and and we'll finalize it on this next comeback. And because I want to go ahead on and finish this article out right here, and then you can bring some information that you would like to give, and we'll conclude it like that.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so we'll put that together. So we only got a minute or so. I just want to make sure, family, I hope everyone held on to the end. We're gonna come back one more again, just one more again, and put a conclusion on to it. And I think this is absolutely great. Make sure, family,
Yeah.
that you go, subscribe, share this information, hit that thumbs up. And family, we're gonna come back together real soon. Me and Dill put it together. We'll come back. He gonna bring some sources, and then hey, we'll chop it up. So, bro, D, we're gonna get ready to get out of here. I hit you up, and we'll put this thing together.
Sounds soon, good.
And we'll come back and put a conclusion on it.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good.
All right. So I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll holler at you, family. Y'all take care.
All right, brother. Peace out.
Absolutely.
All right.